There we go. Right. So hopefully everyone can hear me and everyone can see me. Right. So my name's John. And hi, and thank you so much for joining us today. And this is HUBCP. So HUBCP's Live Lounge. And Live Lounge because before all this craziness happened, we used to have physical networking events, used to bring great people together, but of course, that's no longer happening. So our Live Lounge is business as usual. And it's about bringing entrepreneurs together to share advice with each other, to connect with each other, but most importantly, during these very weird, challenging times, it's to be inspired. So once again, thanks everyone for joining us today, our first ever Live Lounge. The lounge is over there. There's a lounge very close here, by the way, guys, despite this brick wall. So what are we going to be talking about today? Online selling. And I must admit that before all this happened, I would always prefer to go and get everything physically. So I'd go to the shop. I used to love the whole experience. And over the past few weeks, I have become an absolute online shopper. So I can now get all of my food online. I can also get my essentials, like my fake tan, everything online now is all at my disposal. So it would appear that that is pretty much how the world is going, and behaviors have been transformed by the fact that now online selling is here and it's here to stay. So we thought today that our first Live Lounge would be extremely current and topical to talk to two entrepreneurs, PJ and Eddie, from Velocity Commerce. Now, Velocity Commerce, these guys know exactly what they're doing. They help businesses to build online brands, to create online identities, and most importantly, to absolutely boost revenues. So without any further ado, it's really exciting to bring in Eddie and PJ. Eddie and PJ. Hello.
Hello.
Now, guys, I've got to say, you're looking extremely beautiful. You're looking very handsome digitally, more so than face to face. So whatever I don't know what you're doing with the camera there, but you're looking absolutely fantastic. But lovely to see you guys again. How are you? How is life treating you?
Yeah, it's been all right. I don't know. I guess it's difficult to try and be positive, but as much as possible, yeah, we're trying to make the best out of a bad situation, I think. And I think it's been an interesting few weeks where things have been changing on everyday occurrence. I think at least it's been different and offered new challenges and just different perspectives on things, really. So yeah, good.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being our guest today. You probably heard me talking in terms of the introduction. It's very hard to talk to yourself when you start. Very hard. So I hope that all made sense, everybody. But online selling is something that is now, as I was saying, here to stay. And I guess the key thing here is this now the new norm? We're all talking about what are going to be the new norms at the end of this. But it would appear that this may represent a key change in behavior here, and that the ability for organizations to really nail that whole mysterious, beautiful art of online selling is now a necessity. So for the next few moments, I'm going to be asking you guys some questions, let's say 30, 35 minutes, and then we're going to hand over to our wonderful audience to ask some questions as well. So I'm not going to hog it. I sometimes can be guilty of that, as you know. But just give us a little flavour of Velocity. What you guys do would be great.
So the company was founded 7 years ago, and what we do, if you just ask in really, really basic terms, is we help brands who sell physical products make the most out of selling online. So our clients range from Lego to Brita water filters,
Sony.
Sony, and for all those people we do different things, but in essence, we help brands that want to sell physical products online build a strategy. That strategy normally revolves around a marketplace strategy, and by marketplace we mean selling on Amazon and eBay. We help them come up with that, and we help them execute it to the best of our abilities and for what their company's requirements and desires are, really.
You guys are very humble, so you're not going to mention this, but you've been in the 2 years running now, the Financial Times 1000 fastest growing companies in Europe. You're in the Fast Track 100. So you guys know what you're doing, right? You can only be in those kind of lists if you're doing some pretty special things.
Well, people say looks can be deceiving, awards can be deceiving. Yeah, there's a lot of things we don't know. But I guess how our company differs, I think, to a lot of online retailers or online specialists, whatever they want to refer to them as, is we started the company based on a foundation of understanding the sales process online. So understanding how Amazon and eBay work, basically. And we built the company around that philosophy. We're not, you know, carpet salesmen have been in the industry for 30 years. That's the analogy that I always use, and he's looking at me like he wants to laugh. We're definitely not carpet specialists.
Laugh.
And but yeah, we understand that sales cycle very well, and we built the company around that. So yeah, we have grown incredibly quickly. We started this as a part-time job 7 years ago, and in that time we've managed to build it to a company that turns over last year around 30 million quid. So yeah, it's done very well, and it's been yeah, a great journey. And I think the things we've learned on the way have been very good. But yeah, we're by no means experts, I wouldn't say.
Also, John, I'd say what worked on eBay and Amazon 5 years ago wouldn't necessarily work today. So I think one thing that we've always tried looking at is every 6 months reevaluating what we do, how we do it, and is it still relevant? Because I think you need to, you know, eBay and Amazon are always evolving, so it's keeping up to date with the requirement as of today.
Yeah. So getting straight to the point, guys, the absolute cherry of this, the golden nugget. Why is online brand? Why are online sales so important?
I think that it's certainly the most convenient way to shop, and I think that is, you know, if you take where I was, I've worked in online retail for, you know, 20 odd years, and you know, I can remember for most of my career that the line just kept going up, and retail was always bigger than online. There was then, I remember the first day or the first Christmas where actually more consumers shopped online, and since that day, 7, 8, 9 years ago, it's just gone into the stratosphere. And I think, you know, more and more customers start their journey online. So if you're not online, then, you know, I don't think you can really hope to impact a customer's shopping journey all the way through, because, you know, people don't just shop online, they do the research online, and actually you need to be a part of this process all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a progressive shift from high streets online. You know, it's been well documented and well broadcast in the news over the last couple of years. I think, you know, what's happened over the last couple of months, you know, we've had our arms twisted, as you have done, and as you said at the beginning of the session. Yeah, there's been this transition. It's been forced upon us recently, but that's not news to anyone. You know that's been well documented. And I think over the last couple of months, it's just been accelerated, that process really. And an online strategy, or an online, how your brand is portrayed online, not only helps your sales online, but it's actually a great brand building exercise. So yeah, it's something that should be in the forefront of every brand's mind, even if it's something that, you know, they're not necessarily looking at currently, but they want to, you know, get that information for future reference.
So what are the different ways? Let me shake my pen at you. Sorry, guys, but what are the different ways that you can sell online?
So yeah, we're talking about people selling physical products. So everything that, if you want to get your products found online, you need to appease some sort of search algorithm. So there's three main, you know, when you're talking about selling physical products, there's three main search algorithms in the UK for most product groups and areas. You have your own website, and you're reliant then on Google providing you with traffic, or you sell on Amazon and you rely on Amazon for your traffic, or you sell on eBay. They're the three main marketplaces, outside of things like clothing, where you've got a lot of brand direct websites such as ASOS. You know, you've got lots of destinations. There's really only three main algorithms that you're reliant on to bring you traffic. So yeah, what we specialize in as a company is we're not looking necessarily for optimization of Google. What we do is we help people with optimization of Amazon and eBay. So making brands have a strategy for how they attack those marketplaces, because they're both very, very different and work in different weird and wonderful ways, but help them make the most out of the people that are searching for their products or their category of products on those specific marketplaces.
You know, thinking about Amazon, for example, it's been incredible to see that whilst the world was transforming, whilst things were slowing down, whilst amazing things were happening that we'd never witnessed before, there was still that Amazon delivery at the door. Now, those two platforms that you focus on, Amazon, eBay, I'm guessing there's a reason then why you focus on those two platforms. Is that why? Is it because those platforms are absolutely pivotal to, you know, to cracking this online selling aspect?
They've both got a very loyal customer base. I think, you know, broadly speaking, eBay will have a set amount of customers, Amazon will have a set amount of customers, and actually there's not that big an overlap between their customer bases, generally speaking. So actually, if you want to appeal to a broad market and to the most people possible, you need to be selling on both of those platforms. And I was thinking about it today before the call. There's some really interesting brands that do some really interesting things with both of those channels. You've got the likes of Superdry that are one of the biggest sellers on eBay. Now they use that as a clearance channel, non-market disruptive. So any overstocks they've got in their stores, effectively what they don't want to do is discount the product too heavily. They want to go out to mass market and clear the stock as quick a time possible, and be non-market disruptive. So people aren't seeing the product discounted for too long a time. I think they execute that very well from a clearance point of view. You've got stores like Argos who sell on eBay, which last time I checked was about £3.2 million a month of sales on eBay, which
wow.
Again, fantastic channel, all new products. So it's not like they're discounting the products, it's just they are listing the products as they appear in the catalog or online, but just on eBay. So again, that gives you a sense of those customers have chosen to go with eBay and not Amazon, not Argos. So I think that just it reinforces the point that eBay have a very strong customer base. And then if you look at sites like Amazon, so we manage the content and optimization for Rab Outdoor Clothing, and we've seen fantastic successes, because prior to us doing any work for Rab, they weren't selling on Amazon whatsoever. They were using their network of Cotswold Outdoor and all their other high street retailers to sell on their behalf. But what they hadn't considered is that the products being set up on Amazon weren't optimized for Amazon search algorithms, so weren't appearing in a lot of the search terms, so waterproof jacket, down jacket. So you need to get those products found. So actually, again, if they're not being found, that's where someone like us comes in to actually make sure that they surface in search for customers.
I'm not going to quote numbers now because I'll be wrong, and then I'll look like even more of an idiot than normal, and I'm pretty good at that anyway. But the amount of people now who start their shopping journey on one particular platform, the platform that they always go to, or because they associate with buying that type of product, and they don't ever leave that ecosystem. Yeah, when you're talking about particularly impulse products, so by that I mean in most categories sub sort of £30, people, when they think they think they're feeding their dog. I always make these things up. So they're feeding their dog. I don't even own a dog. And they look at the dog bowl and they're like, it looks a bit scruffy. So they say, okay, I'm going to buy a dog bowl now. They go on Amazon and they buy a dog bowl there and then. They never go outside of that ecosystem. So I'm then thinking, okay, well, if I'm a dog bowl manufacturer, then if I'm not catching that customer on Amazon, I don't have a chance of winning that sale. You could be the best-selling pet brand in pets at home. That's great. I mean, that's amazing. You've done very, very well there, but you don't stand a chance of catching that Amazon customer. It's not like that person's going to go on and shop around for that product. It, by definition, is an impulse purchase. They start that journey on Amazon, they end that journey on Amazon. The only way to catch them is through the Amazon funnel. So if you're not present on those marketplaces, for those sort of type of purchases, or those sort of customers, I mean, some customers are so loyal to Amazon, they're hell bent on getting the most out of their Prime subscription because they paid that 60, 70 quid or whatever it is now, and they will buy everything from there by hook or by crook. They're happy with the service. The delivery man posts them every day. Unless you're on Amazon, you're never going to catch that customer. It's interesting when we go to brands and they say to us, everything we try to do is paint by numbers. So we're looking at the statistics behind searches, the amount of searches that your products are getting currently, the amount that we can increase the amount of traffic that we're getting to your items. But when we speak to brands and they say, we don't have a huge amount of interest on Amazon, we say to them, okay, well, your brand is already getting this many searches. Okay, this is not people looking, for your general sort of items that you don't think fits with your perceived Amazon demographic that you've come up with based on nothing. People are actually looking for your branded of items already, and they're customers that, if they're starting their journey looking for your product on Amazon, clearly they're Amazon diehards. Okay, yeah, you could argue they'll go to Google and they'll buy your product from elsewhere, but maybe they won't. These Amazon diehards, people that only buy from Amazon, are going to not find your product on Amazon. They might have seen on a TV advertising campaign that's cost you a lot of money, and they're just going to buy someone else's brand.
By the way, Eddie, there's some pretty awesome passion towards doggy bowls then. So that could be
I've got the secrets now.
That's inspirational stuff. Yeah. But in terms of Amazon itself, right? You've kind of alluded to this, but would you say there is an element sometimes of a reluctance for people to, you know, to really give it a go? Are there some reasons why, if there is reluctance, people are reluctant?
Yeah, I think brands in particular, ones that we speak to, they don't understand it. I guess they don't understand how to get the most out of it, and they don't actually understand it how to position a clear strategy that won't conflict with what they're doing elsewhere in the market. And also they might have tried in the past of selling products physically to Amazon directly, and Amazon, you know, are a nightmare for pricing and offering discounts, you know, outside of agreed promotional times and those sort of things. So they've had a bad experience. They've heard of someone's had a bad experience. Normally that's because of poor implementation. So we speak to brands that, you know, consider themselves to be a brand, you know, who are sold in, you know, high-end sort of retail and stuff. And we're like, yeah, well, that's fine. That product, yeah, you're right. You probably don't want to put some of that product on Amazon. And even if you did, it wouldn't sell, because that's not the sort of products that people buy on Amazon. However, they know everything about the market. They know everything about their product range. They could quite easily release a subset of products specifically for Amazon that we could help that brand create using search data. So we're not saying to a brand, okay, well, you know, oh, well, I think rucksacks with waterproof coverings are going to be really, really big next season. We're saying to brands, okay, what rucksacks with waterproof shields that go around with waterproof coverings are already getting 10,000 searches a month.
The bestseller is £15 to £16 every month. The spec of that item is X. So we're effectively giving the brands a blueprint saying, if you can match this price, this spec, you know, there's a little bit of wiggle room there, but you will be guaranteed a decent share of this amount of sales. And that is black and white.
And is that the same principles that you've been talking there for eBay as well?
100%.
The difference between Amazon and eBay is Amazon has more traffic. There's more people walking through their shop door every day than there are eBay. It's very, very hard. Even that said, eBay is much more about variety and about a wide range of products. It's much easier to sell bespoke products. It's much easier to sell slightly different products. Whereas Amazon, you have to think about the essence of how Amazon was started. And it started as a website where people sold books. I mean, books is one of the most commoditized industries in the world. You know, any sort of printed media is. People are buying what the words say in the book. They're not buying the book specifically. It's a website designed for selling commoditized products, whereas eBay was never designed for that. eBay was designed as a website for people to sell their old bike. Okay, so it's actually there to give you a point of difference and sell personality and these unique products, whereas Amazon is a completely different shopping experience, and they're finding it very, very hard, both of those people, to shrug that. So Amazon is designed for selling petrol, you know, effectively. It's there for selling very, very homogenous, relatively simple products, whereas eBay is much more about the detail and the little different personal touches on products, and those two product ranges generally work very well. So for example, in-car products sell incredibly well on eBay. eBay has a demographic of customer who is willing to purchase something that's secondhand, no problem. We don't sell a huge amount of secondhand stuff, or we sell some refurbished product, but not a huge amount of refurbished products on there anymore. But they're quite happy to buy secondhand product. They're quite happy to buy product that needs installing and all those little things. Whereas Amazon, and they're quite happy to find a bargain in order to do so. They're quite happy to inject some time into doing it. Whereas Amazon, people want to buy things that come in square boxes. You know, they want to buy water filters. You know, they want to buy ink cartridges. They want to buy memory cards. They want to buy all those things. It works incredibly well for those sort of products. Little products with trinkets on them and stuff, yeah, not so much Amazon's bag really. So shopping experience is completely different.
Okay, so PJ, I heard a little rumour that you've got some rare hand sanitizer there. Is that true?
I have. Trying to stay safe.
Can you check it to me? Can you check it to me? Okay, great, thanks for that. That was just as we rehearsed. So anyway, right. Right, so taking this this non-branded hand sanitizer, okay, so where would I begin now to begin this journey of online selling? Tell me where I begin, because right now I know that this is going to sell. Where do I begin? Because so far I've been outside my house, you know, handing it to people who'll keep 2 meters, whatever. Anyway, going online selling, how do you do it?
So you've
Where do you
got
start?
you've got some of those products, you're looking to sell them, right? Right.
Yes.
So we would be able to come to you and say, okay, so what's the generic search term, which would be hand sanitizer? We'd be able to tell you how many searches that is getting per month or per week on Amazon, a list of the top selling products and their specification and price. So we'd be able to tell you how many people are searching for it, how many are being sold at what price and their specification. And then we could easily tell you how many you would likely sell per month, what price you'd need to be, and then go from there.
I think
So
it's
what-
very important that, you know, people, you know, if you're a small seller, I think the whole COVID thing opens, you know, ultimately there's going to be sadly casualties on the high street. And actually, you know, Amazon in particular gets very, very bad press about you know, being dominating the high street. But actually, there's a lot of small businesses that have done very, very well out of selling on Amazon. So Amazon, although it's crippling the high street, don't get me wrong, I completely agree with that. It's actually the platform that they offer that is, and actually there's a lot of small sellers that I think, you know, could potentially start up out of this virus. You know, you could do John's hand sanitizer.
Your dog.
Yeah, and actually, I think what I'll say to any of those small companies in particular looking to start out is spend as much time researching how to sell the product as you do researching the product. Everyone obsesses about having the cheapest product or this product or that product, but without any real appreciation of how they can take it to market and how they can use the sales, you know, cycle and the sales system that they have on place on Amazon and such to put their product in front, you know, in front of the people that are likely to buy it. And I think that's the hardest thing.
For example, so the hand sanitizer, if 90% of the sales going through Amazon are between 10 and 15 pounds, you're more, you know, you're comfortable that that's what customers want to spend. There is no point having a 40-pound product in hand sanitizers because the market is likely to be around that 12 to 15. So it's understanding your customer and where you need to attack it before you even build the product. I think that's one of the biggest bits of value, and that, you know, the tools that we use and that, you know, we can interpret the data. That's effectively what we can give to brands or manufacturers.
It's interesting. So everyone always comes to us, the latest and greatest products, and like, I want to sell this on Amazon. It's this amazing product. And again, I'm going to make something up, so bear with me. So they have created a door wedge that is also a stapler. And it's amazing. So like, use it in an office. Wow. So yeah, every office. I've just made this up. Please don't mind.
Kind of a big deal.
Every office has door wedges and every office has staplers. So they're like, so I've just put them in both. So every time you know you need a stapler, you just go to the door and you take out a door wedge. So that is amazing. It's absolutely truly amazing. And they're like, a door wedge is £5 and a stapler is £5, but we managed to get this at £7.50. We're going to be able to sell this for £7.50. It's bargain. And I say to them, that's absolutely great. But no one is going to search online for a door wedge with a stapler in it. That's not going to get any searches. People are going to search for a door wedge or a stapler. And when they search for a door wedge, they're going to find £5 door wedges and they're going to buy a £5 door wedge. And if they sell the staplers, they're going to find a £5 stapler. So selling online, you just think about what is your item actually called and how are people going to find it? Because 99% of items, again, outside of clothing, a couple other categories that people type a word in a search bar at the top, okay, and they buy whatever comes top. And what comes top generally is the products that are well optimized, well reviewed, and all those sort of things that we help people with every day. But what comes top are products that are well priced for that and well engineered for that specific search term. So getting products that no one's searching for. So we speak to people that invent products and we say, well, what is it called? And they say, well, it's sort of this and sort of that. That doesn't really help you selling online. That is a lot more tricky. So yeah, I think it's very important for anyone when they're looking to sell online is you need to sell something that's got a name, really, because that's what you're selling. In order to get your products found, you're hoping that someone types a word into a search bar and finds your product.
And how about how it looks? Is that important as well in terms of the kind of aesthetic look of it online?
So the first thing we try and do, there's no point having the best product in the world, as Eddie alluded to, if it's not surfaced in search, okay? So once they found it, that's job one taken care of. After that, we're looking at how we increase conversion. So we're making sure they've already clicked on the product. Has it got the right specification? The images are all absolutely perfect. And are you selling that product absolutely perfectly? So, you know, all of the stats that we see now that say at least 50 to 55% of customers mainly look at the images. They don't look so much at the spec. So actually try and incorporate some of the spec into the images. You know, a picture paints 1,000 words. So if it is, I don't know, a DAB, a portable boombox, for example, that, you know, you want to make sure customers know they can use it outdoors as well as mains operators in the kitchen. Then, you know, have a picture of a toddler carrying it outdoors in the garden. Instantly, you know, the customer looking at that knows, without even reading the specification, that product is available to be used with batteries outdoors. And just make sure all the content is on point. You know, you go through the reviews with a fine tooth comb to see what people are searching for. So, you know, does it have AA batteries? Make sure that content is absolutely on point and you're answering the questions.
Cool. Switching a little bit, obviously something very important, very current, coronavirus. What are some of the things that you have seen over the past few weeks in terms of changes to product mix? What are you seeing in terms of the big changes?
People love bog paper.
Well, you know what? The last time I physically saw you, I could just walk in a supermarket and buy it, and then all of a sudden it was impossible, wasn't it?
Those were the days, weren't they? That was amazing. Do you remember that?
Days.
Yeah, everything that people are changing, everything that people are buying has changed dramatically, really. It's interesting. We sell a lot of DVD players. We always have done, and we sell a lot of CD players as well. And everyone always jokes with us, is like, oh, you know, people still buy DVD players, and I say, well, no, not really. Only about 10,000 a month in my experience. So we always noticed that summer holidays, they sell really well. And these are products that people are buying for kids' bedrooms, okay? So it's not necessarily people buying them from their living room. People have got an old Disney DVD collection, okay? And, you know, their kids being, you know, as kids are, annoying. And they then think, oh, okay, well, what we can do is we can buy a DVD player, put it in the kids' bedroom, and they can watch their old Disney DVDs. So those have been selling incredibly well recently, for example, more so than normal because everyone's got their kids at home. Obviously, they're trying to work from home during the day. They just want to pacify their children. Then you get really interesting things like it rains, okay? So the kids can't play outside, and you sell even more of those products. I mean, yeah, so those things have changed clearly. We sell a lot. We work with Lego directly. We run an eBay Lego store for Lego, and we've noticed sales of that have increased, dramatically over the last few weeks. But Lego sales across the market are up
300% year on year.
Yeah, so that has changed. I think it's quite a dangerous time really for all retailers. It's like I always joke that it's probably a bit soon for joking. People, you know, at the end of this, there'll be warehouses full of face masks. Yeah, undoubtedly, and people will get caught, you know, holding the baby, I think, with buying these faddy products. So for us, trying to advise brands and then trying to manage our own in-house brands and stuff, we are very aware that this is not a normal demand curve. Yeah, this is, you know, there's spikes and everyday changes in how people's buying habits are changing, and we need to err on the side of caution when looking at forecasting and stuff and not over commit to things.
So in terms of behavior, do you think we are going to see some fundamental change? As again, we spoke about it earlier, the new norm. Are you anticipating new behavior? So, you know, the high street, what do you think the future looks for the high street versus maybe firms that are going to switch to more to online? What are your thoughts?
I think, yeah, this transition from high street to retail, from high street to online has been happening for a long time now. And I think, you know, any business that was in bad shape is going to struggle with this downturn in demand. You know, there's no one really, I don't think that, you know, no one that's had to close their doors is going to benefit from this. I wouldn't have thought. I can see there being quite a lot of polarization on the high street, and actually a lot of people, you know, a lot of retailers that do potentially go by the wayside is the ones that remain actually could pick up a lot of that slack. So I think there will be ultimately people that fare quite well out of it, but I don't think it's going to be an easy time for anyone. I just think, you know, people shopping, you know, we talk about, you know, the new norm or whatever. I think that a lot of people, I don't hear many people say they've had a bad experience shopping online over the last few months. Yeah, your Tesco's delivery will take ages, but actually when it turns up, you're like, oh, that just worked and it was relatively easy. And I think a lot of people will continue to shop in those ways. Yeah, and I think for time to come that it will only further enhance the loyalty to online, and the high street will suffer.
I think a lot of retailers have to take a hard look at their current online offering. If I pick Halfords, for example, obviously there's benefits for customers going into stores. So they've never really wanted their online offering to be as good as an in-store offering. But when you come to COVID and actually the site can't deal with the amount of traffic, or the shopping experience isn't quite as slick as Amazon, that's where these sort of retailers will need to sort of get their online offering to sort of best in class like Amazon.
Okay, so when we were talking about this earlier, this is like the 30-second, 45-second bit that we record and send out there in terms of top tips. So for any business right now who is really thinking, do you know what? Maybe is the time now more than ever to really think about our e-commerce offering. What are some of the absolute gems that you could advise that businesses really start to think about?
So I think of a long-term online strategy. Don't worry about COVID. In fact, if anything, don't overcommit to what I would refer to as a bump. I think any business that plans for a linear increase, online sales, online migration until now has been quite linear. I think we'll reset. It's been going on this. I think we'll reset at a higher level, but actually don't look at a short term, put a plaster on it, get a crap website up, put some rubbish listings up on Amazon. Take a long-term view at it and actually try and think about, what this looks like in a year or 18 months time when we reset a happy medium. Do not go panic stations. Almost like lose this battle, the current battle right now, and look at a way of winning that war. And actually and the time that it gives you currently, use that time to focus on building a good online offering, not, and actually changing maybe your product range to suit more of an online customer, etc. And actually look at how you can do it long term, not just go, oh crap, I've got some overstocks, which I know lots of people are going to be in that position, don't get me wrong. And there's ways to help that, but almost don't plan your online future around clearing out that product. There's people that you can go to that can clear product for you relatively easily, and you work on your long-term future, because they're going to be tough, for everyone. And how it resets is not the known yet, but I think certainly we can start to plan for that.
I think it's important to have a look at brands that sell on eBay and Amazon and do it well, and understand how they do it well, how that could integrate with your current sales strategy. But I think it's important to understand eBay and Amazon. I think that Amazon certainly the future of online retail. So if you don't have a presence, get one, even if it's just to understand the platform and how it can be used as a tool, not to detract from your current online offering or your retail sales offering.
And anyone starting out, I'll always say, do one product well. Do not go and try and sell 100 products from day one. Do one product well. I think when we speak to people and we say to them, I was speaking to someone yesterday about chili sauce, so like hot sauce on Amazon. I think in the UK that gets 14,000. Just the term hot sauce gets 14,000 searches a month. I think it's generating some horrendously large amount of revenue, like 60k or something out of one search term. If you have one product on that homepage, on that first page of results, which is catching 90% of that 60k, then you're on to a winner. So just do one product properly, invest all of your time and effort into just getting that right, and then expanding from there. But the volumes are massive.
And finally, before we pass to the audience, is this something I could do like tomorrow? I could just be on the platform and ready to go. Is that something you would advise? Just literally get straight on
it. No, basically there's not. We've learned the hard way in everything we've done. We started the business from a garage, and I think what we've accumulated over that time is a lot of knowledge. I would say if you're an expert in your product or your range, definitely speak to a specialist and get their advice and their help. And when times are hard, you can learn a lot from speaking to people. And I think there's so much help out there and resource out there. Just try and get some help with it. But it definitely takes time to get listings established. Even our experience of that is you can get a product selling on eBay tomorrow to get a product selling on Amazon. Even if you're good at it, can take up to 6 months. It's about knowing that. But once you once you know the volumes that you're achieving and how you're going to get there, yeah, you can. It's really easy to invest in something when you know what the potential is and the outcome is. Okay, when you're just jumping down that ether of, you know, unknown in selling on Amazon, it's impossible. But if someone comes to us, or there's third-party software that you can use that will let you know, which if you know what you're doing is all right, but if you're a beginner, you can work it out to take you a little bit longer. It will tell you roughly what the size of the prize is. Won't necessarily tell you how to get there, but it can tell you. I mean, a little trick that we used to do in meetings is because we live and breathe Amazon so much. If you send, and actually, if anyone's watching wants to know, if you just send me any URL of any product on Amazon, I'll tell you how many it's selling. And that's a little skill that you can pick up. Yeah, so you can say, okay, well, you know, this hot sauce that they're selling, okay, well, they're selling 3,000 units a month. Okay, and I can tell you how they're doing it, and I can tell you the price that they're doing it. I can even tell you what the search terms people are using to find that product. But once you know that information, it doesn't get so scary to start selling online.
And you've got to be, I take it, sorry, just one, I take it the minute you start selling, you've got to be on it. You've got to make sure everything's fulfilled. It's a slick process. Are there implications if it's not a slick process? And
I think one thing that we've seen that a lot of brands have tried doing when they first started selling on eBay and Amazon is they've thrown their listings up, they've got some sales, but they haven't understood how eBay and Amazon as platforms mark you as a seller. So, you know, you're committing to ship the items every day, same day by 4 p.m. If you don't do that, you're going to get naughty marks. And if you get, you know, a score of under 90%, they will either suppress your listings so people can't find them, or, you know, even worse, you could be banned. And I think a lot of brands run into the selling side of things and actually get their product selling, but don't pay enough care and attention to how many messages they can customer messages they can answer in a day, how many items they can ship out in a day. And actually, you need to understand your limitations before you go and get these sales, because you only get one shot on eBay and Amazon, and then, you know, potentially, as I said, you could get banned.
Okay. Well, guys, I am being told by the wonders of technology that there are some questions, which is great. So at this point, I'm going to hand to Steve Whittle, who will be helping us guide through those questions coming in.
Yeah, we had some great questions, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay. We've got one question here from Steve. It says, your name is all about speed. Is that key to everything you do, speed and agility?
I don't know. We were drunk when we made it up, so we can't remember. No, yeah, I don't know. Everyone bangs on about agility, don't they? It's like, oh, you know, what's your business? Oh, we're really agile. We just try to do our best in everything we do, I think. Yeah, I truly believe in a direct consumer relationship. So by that, I mean, the person that makes the product sells, it's the person that uses it. I think anything that gets in the way of that, you know, is not a pure setup. I'm not saying that retailers and distributors and all those people don't add value, but yeah, I believe that the person that makes it should be the person that sells it, it's the person that uses it. And I think Velocity was born out of PJ and I having a job that felt so shit, to be honest. So yeah, I think when we had our old jobs where we first met, we were quite frustrated by corporate life and how it was slow, and you know, you need to justify someone else why your idea was good. So yeah, everything we try to do is as snappy as possible. And everyone that we employ and have always employed, we've tried to do it in a way that it's their train set and they run it how they like. And all we do is when they fuck things up is we just ask them why they thought that was a good idea. And then we laugh it off. So yeah, we try to do everything really quickly, basically. Doesn't mean that we don't have attention to detail, but I think if you empower people and businesses to make decisions, then a few things go wrong, don't get me wrong, but you don't miss out on opportunities. And I think it's that missed opportunity by having sat on things too long or tried to convince yourself something's a good idea. I think that's the hardest thing. And a lot of people we see setting out, and
you can find out that information. So the great thing, you know, as Eddie's just alluded to about direct to consumer, is you've got that ownership, you've got that control. So, you know, if a DAB radio is 10th best-selling DAB radio on Amazon and it's at £40, and you want to know what it takes to get it to the top of the category, drop it to £35. You may not make as much margin, but in 7 days you've realised that you've gone from the 40th best-selling radio to the 5th best-selling in the category. And then actually, if you put the price back up to 40, do you stay there at sort of the best selling, or do you drop down to the third? And you might be further on than you thought when you first started, but you've got that power to do those tests, and you don't need to get sign off. You can just find that information out immediately almost.
And you can move faster in business when you base your decisions based on data. Yeah, not on having pointless meetings. I think that is, something that we believe in. Things should be data driven, and even conversations. And we do things like looking at reviews on products and categorizing them based on like keywords. If you've got 1,000 reviews, what are the repetitive words in that review? Normally that will lead you to either something that's good about the product or something that's bad about the product. And that, is data that's driven out of effectively a conversation or a review. So I just think, it's how you use the data that enables you to move quickly and make decisions based on aggregated facts, not whims.
Great. Steve, next question.
Okay, I realise that I've just been told I'm echoing, so I'm hopefully that's going to stop. Is that better? Great stuff. So sorry about that. I'm trying to figure out. Thanks, Tim, for letting me know. Actually, this is a question from Tim. I'm involved in a scale-up snacking brand. We're looking at our online presence and selling direct to trade and consumer. What would your advice be in terms of selling from Amazon, eBay, and our own website?
Great question.
Firstly, I think a lot of people think they have to sell online or they have to sell through distribution. I would say be very transparent with your distributors. You don't want them to sell to anyone that's going to sell on Amazon and eBay, and I would own that yourself. So you should own that relationship between your brand and the end customer, either through you can sell the product yourself on Amazon, for example, or you can sell it to one party, as we act for a lot of brands who we sell on that platform exclusively. But try and keep the two things separate. It's like you need to build this ecosystem basically where your reviews on Amazon help you sell your product. I'm going to make this up again in Holland and Barrett. Okay, someone goes into Holland and Barrett. It's a similar price it is to on Amazon. They buy it from Holland and Barrett because they're there then, and actually it's easy. They do it. But they go to Holland and Barrett and they read the reviews on Amazon. It's everything needs to feed in together to make this amazing product offering. So yeah, I think it can seem very daunting to try and get online, Amazon, eBay, your website working together with a traditional sort of retail model, but just try and keep the two very, very separate and set up your store. And again, this guy, Tim, I think he said his name is, Tim, if you want to contact us and we can send you some data about how, I don't know what your snack range is, but how well Trek bars are selling or anything like that, then yeah, just let us know, because there's all that information out there. And to be honest, some people we get to the situation whereby they're working with high street retailers and we let them know the information of products, how much they're selling on Amazon. They're like, don't know why I've ever bothered with high street really. If you conquer that, then actually that is, we've got £30 million business out of selling a bit of kit online. So, I mean, there's definitely reasonable demand there. It's just about where you put the pressure and where you actually focus your attention. But yeah, I think you can get them both working, but I think you need to have a separate strategy online. And if you want any help with it, then let us know.
Cool. Steve?
Okay, so Tim said, thanks guys, I'll get in touch. So I think he's really appreciate the help. So we do have another question here from Damien. Do you guys think there is a market for wider digital services on Amazon, eBay, Facebook, such as universities selling edutech courses, providers selling fintech products?
Yeah, that's interesting. So they have tried a lot of that. Amazon, it's really hard to get those sort of products away.
Again, it's so much about the search term, and if it's not a clear defined search term, it's quite hard to surface.
Yeah, I mean, we always say to brands, so I use the example of Nextbase. They make like in-car, they're market leader in in-car video recorders, okay? Is I'm not making more people on Amazon search for the term dash cam, okay? That's, like, for want of a better phrase, that's their problem. Like, they're the people that are advertising the product, working on PR for the brand, not for the brand, but for that, because they're a market dominant brand, for that product category area. What we're doing is we're helping people catch more of those dash cam searches. So, I'm saying, okay, well, that's getting X number of searches a month. Yeah, if you want to increase the number of searches that's getting, you're going to have to really do some PR outside of Amazon. So I think the hard thing you have with those new product areas is Amazon won't create demand for those products. Amazon won't make people start looking for courses for doing X or Y. That has to happen outside of the Amazon ecosystem. And then really all you're doing on Amazon is making sure you're catching that traffic, because it's such an easy place to transact because delivery is so good. So I definitely think that is there. I think there is incentives and systems that Amazon are putting in place to help people market their products and services outside of Amazon and actually create demand. But at the moment, I think it's difficult. It's not to say there isn't some niche little categories there and areas that you can get quite good sales on, but I think they're few and far between. So I think it's a tough gig, basically.
Sorry, do you mind if I just chip in with a really quick question there? International sales. Is this now a time to really focus on that? Do you think now the barriers to entry are lower than they've almost non-existent? So now is the time to build a global snack bar for a brand like Tim, for example?
The world's a much smaller place now. You know, Amazon especially. So if you put let's imagine the snack bar for a minute. If we put 1,000 of those into Amazon's warehouse in the UK and we listed it on Amazon Germany, France, Spain, that product would be distributed all across Europe and actually would be available for sale by Amazon and shipped by Amazon to all of those countries. And actually what's really interesting is the different countries, the price points that those type of products sell in might differ massively to the UK. So in the UK, say a grenade snack bar might retail at £10, but actually in Germany, that might retail at £15 or €15. So actually you might end up with a much higher selling product in another territory as well.
What's interesting with those products is, okay, there might be, so an interesting one is like a soundbar, for example. Everyone in the UK calls a soundbar in the UK a soundbar. If you asked 100 people off the street, you took them in your house and pointed at that thing in front of your television and said, what is it? 90 of them would say a soundbar. You ask the same people in Munich, okay, you get a different 100 people off the street in Germany, same house, you point at that thing in front of your television and say, what is it? They will give you 10 different answers. Okay, it's much more fragmented in different search terms. But again, because what we're doing is painting by numbers, we take what the best sellers are, we work out how people are finding them, then we apply it to your product. So international expansion can be very easy, but you can't just rely on translating snack bar into German and expecting customers to find that. Because in Germany, they might call that, you know, lunchbox cake or whatever the translation might be, but it might be way more fragmented than it is in the UK. So it's very, very easy logistically to expand now, okay? But you need to apply a bit of maths behind getting your products to surface. But one thing that so this brand here, this brand called Majority, this is our own brand offering. So this is our brand that we design, manufacture, and then sell in-house. Last year, we sold more products. So in the last 4 years since launching that product, we sold over 2 million units. So it's been incredibly successful. Over 80 million quid worth of sales on that product range. We sold more in Europe last year than we did the UK. So we have never had a warehouse in Europe, and we've never posted a product from the UK to Europe for that product range. We rely exclusively on third-party warehouses within those European territories. All of our products are available for next-day delivery, and we've done that by leveraging third parties. So it's not difficult. You don't have to look at, you don't have to look at really, really complex delivery networks and shipping products. You know, how much it costs DHL to ship it to that country. If you set it up right and you get warehousing in the right places and stuff, that can be really, really easy. Same with tax implications. So all of our European VAT requirements, because we've got European VAT registrations now in like 8 different countries, plus the US, etc. We run that through one central system that calculates it based on transaction that it scrapes directly off Amazon's and eBay's API. So those don't have to be that complicated. So you don't have to get bogged down by that. You just have to know someone that knows what they're doing, which, I mean, we've learned the hard way and all those sort of type things. But yeah, it doesn't have to be that difficult international expansion. It can be so lucrative, and it can mean that, you know, if it costs X amount to buy 5,000 units or something, but you can increase that to 20,000 units, actually that could be your margin. And if you open up other territories in order to get to that sort of volume, then yeah, that could be the making of your business.
Cool. Steve, next question.
We have a question from Matt. Is there room for luxury goods selling on Amazon? If so, how would you advise it is approached by a brand?
Sorry,
Great
to buy a
question.
brand.
How would it be approached by the brand to sell luxury products if there is a market?
You know, Eddie touched on this earlier. I think it's very important with luxury goods is don't carve in your soul too early on that, and actually think about your overall business strategy, because what you don't want to do is discount the product on Amazon and tarnish the relationship ongoing. I think it's just very important to have a strategy and understand how you're going to drive traffic to Amazon, or is it going to be how far is the delta from, if say a skin cream normally retails at £10, if you're selling at £15, there's probably an element that you can piggyback on a generic search term of skincare products. But if you're trying to sell it for £100, then realistically it's probably going to be a bit more tricky, and you're going to have to deliver traffic to Amazon.
The problem with luxury brands and selling online, particularly Amazon, is if you're selling on Amazon, you're two things. You fall into there's two successful categories. Okay, there is the cheapest, which is always very successful, and they sell a lot of product. And then there's people that have brand direct traffic. So talking about PJ's makeup scenario is either you're a generic, let's say, and by that I mean like supermarket quality generic brand that's selling on Amazon, probably getting a huge amount of volume, or you're MAC, or one of those brands. And people are probably searching for, people are searching for lipstick, and that's going to be dominated 9 times out of 10 by very, very cheap items. You sort of supermarket own brand. It's the same in every retail store and everything. Or you're people that are actually specifically gone to purposefully buy that brand because of some marketing they've seen, or because of a historic affiliation with that brand or perception of that brand. So luxury brands you can sell, but I think the first thing you need to ask yourself is, like everything we said today, is how are people going to find that item? I think the word luxury in something outside of maybe chocolates probably doesn't really get that many searches on Amazon. So people searching for luxury handbag or stuff, I don't think that's really going to get. But I think probably you'll find that people searching for Radley handbag on Amazon probably gets quite a lot of searches.
One thing I would say is it certainly wouldn't be a bad thing to have the product beautifully described on Amazon and well reviewed. So even if you don't necessarily want to sell product from there, Amazon is a great source of a reference. So if somebody's seeing that product elsewhere in the market and they see your product on Amazon with a 5-star review, that's only going to aid the sale of the product somewhere.
Great. Steve, we've got 4 more minutes. Can we take one more question?
Yes, we have actually got one more question, and that's from Tim. He's asking, where and how do you go about picking a product to sell on Amazon if you want to test? I think he's saying if you want to test the market, but you don't have what to sell nailed down.
You never know.
Hash that up too much.
No, I know. I think I know what you're saying. So when we first started out, we just used to buy products that we thought we weren't going to make a terrible loss on, just to try the market. You never know how to make money in a category or understand a category until you buy something 9 times out of 10. There is, as much as I say this, paint by numbers, etc., nothing like painting by numbers. The pound notes, that makes you paint incredibly quickly. So I think when you're going into a category, I always think an entry-level product is a great place to start, because as this conversation we had 2 minutes ago is, generic searches are dominated by cheap stuff. And I think, if it is a product that, so there's 2 things on this, okay? If it's really, really, really cheap, you can get caught out by you can't sell the product for as much as it costs to post. So basically, a £3 item, okay, you can't sell for £2 because it costs you £2.50 to post it. So there is a ceiling, or a floor, should we say, in doing that. But I think if it's a cheap product and you can compete with generic search terms and you can sell it at worst case scenario without selling too much, then you selling that product, getting all the customer feedback, reading the reviews, chatting to the customers, doing the customer services, all those things helps you build up a picture of where the actual little niche in that category is. And it might be that, I'll tell you some stupid things that we've done in the past. So we bought products, okay, that we don't think we can sell at a profit, okay, and we start selling them, and we can't sell them at a profit because we buy them for £5. It costs £3 to post, and it costs £2 in seller fees. Okay, we buy them. So we've got £10 worth of cost, and we buy it for £10. Okay, what happens after we buy a few is you realise that people only buy them 5 at a time. Okay, so then we've got a product that costs £5 to buy. It still only costs £3 to post 10 units or 5 units, and actually that is your margin. It's the consolidated postage. Until I had bought them, I would never have known that people only buy them 5 at a time. And it's those little things that you pick up along the way that you're only ever going to know if you're the seller of that product. We're looking at all the data, with all the world in the world, you're never going to know that. So just try and find something that you're not going to lose that much money on. It's a category that you're passionate about and you're interested about, because I think that goes a long way to you actually finding out the little things that you know. Not if you're too passionate about it, you end up obsessing about it and selling products that no one ever wants, in my experience. But yeah, just learn from doing and learning out where the little sweet spots are, and that's the best thing to do. But just try and go into it, not with a view of making money from day one, but just damage limitation. What's the worst it's going to cost me? At the end of the day, I went to university, it cost 30 grand and taught me fuck all. So you might as well spend a bit of money on some products and lose some money in them, as long as it's not too bad. That's not the end of the world.
Right, guys, that has brought us brilliantly up to the hour mark. Thank you so much for giving up your time today. You've done a lot.
Can I have my hand sanitizer back?
Yeah, do you want it? Can you catch it?
Yeah, no.
I won't pass it back then. Don't worry, I'm going to keep it. But thank you so much, guys. You've really supported everything we've done at HUBCP with physical networking events. This is absolutely brilliant. Some absolutely great content we've got from this, which we're going to be writing, which we're going to be doing snippets of the videos. In terms of everybody who's watching, thank you too. Really appreciate you giving your time. And hopefully you've learned some great stuff from this. Feedback is really important. We're going to be doing a number of these live lounges now. So please do tell us what you like, what you didn't like, what we could do better, or they've disappeared. I'll have to thank them again after this. So feedback is really important. So please do make sure, if you get the opportunity, we'd love to hear it. I'd like to invite you on the 14th of May to join us for our next live lounge. So same time, Thursday, 2 o'clock, the 14th of May, where we're going to be joined by Juliet Barrett, who is the co-founder of Grenade. Grenade, whether you're a gym goer or you just like protein chocolate bars or what have you, an incredible business that has been in the fast track numerous years now. And Juliet is going to be talking to us about a number of aspects, a number of things, but really concentrating on leadership. The business was founded right at the heart of the last global recession. So I guess, which is very, again, relevant for what we're going through at the moment, this is an opportunity for Juliet to talk to us about all the things that she discovered building a business during extremely hard times, and some of the nuggets, again, that hopefully you'll be able to discover from hearing Juliet's insights on things that she recommends that she might have done differently or things she did great. So if you could join us, that'd be great. And as I said, this is very much a leadership session that we'll be doing. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. I hope you had a great time, and really look forward to seeing you, virtually seeing you, whatever you call it, in the future. So thanks a lot, and speak to you soon.